What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Jake and Josh show. This week, we got a cool Would You Rather for you. But first, we're going to smoke some weed.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
This is the only other thing I've had sent to the podcast is hot sauce, which is also dope. So I got this box with the weed in it. Got shipped through the mail. Amazing. Got a letter to law enforcement. Says, to whom this may concern, our products contain industrial hemp flower and hemp-derived oils, not marijuana. So basically, you get this whole letter typed up. It contains less than 0.3% Delta-9 THC, which means under the Farm Bill, the Agricultural Act that was passed in 2014 or whatever, you can now ship hemp products across state lines as long as they meet that THC requirement. So what they'll do is they'll take this shit and instead of THC 9 or whatever, they'll put it in THCA. Dude, that's a nice fucking pen, dude. Here, have one.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Talk Time Hemp.
Talk Time Hemp. So you can go to the website too, Talk Time Hemp. We'll pull it up for a second, but let's see here. Oh, here's a sticker, dude.
Oh, sweet.
We got stickers, Talk Time Hemp, dude. So, nice, sealed in the old fucking Mylar. Oh, that smells. It smells like a fucking skunk, dude. Smells pretty good. There's these fucking bomb-ass snow cap ones that I want to try, dude. RS11. Yeah, we'll fuck with that. Yeah, Super Boof. That's cool. Boofing it. Super Boof. It looked good on the site. Lemon Cherry Gelato. Gush Mints. Yeah, pick one you want to try. I'm going to try this fucking snow cap one I seen. Berry White. Tropicana Cherry. Jesus Christ, buddy. GMO grapes. So I figure basically we'll try one of these on every podcast till they come.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Tropical Cherry Snow Caps. We're going to try that one today. That one is good looking. The rest of these, boom, going in for later. We appreciate you, Leo. Leo sent me all this shit. I'm going to put a link in the description of this episode to his website, Talk Time Hemp. This stuff specifically is like $75 a half. But, see that shit. So it's dusted in the THCA. Super good. Let's use this bong. I like this bong best. Sorry, guys, for smoking weed. Doing a weed advertisement right when we open up. But, fuck, I got to smoke some weed. So, that's why I chose to do
No,
this.
it always makes for better conversation as long as you don't get too stoned.
Yeah, dude, if you
If
get
you
too stoned, you're like,
then you're just zoning out like, oh man, that might have been a mistake.
I forgot I was recording. Yeah, let's try this shit. Now, me, I'm a taste snob. So if this doesn't taste good, poop.
I usually don't care. As long as it gets me stoned, I'm happy.
Dude, that's not bad. I took a very small hit so that it didn't just make my throat sad. And not bad. I haven't actually smoked any pot this morning, so I'm gonna know if this gets me high or not, Leo.
No, I like that. That tastes good. Let me give it a whiff.
Bigger hit, not too harsh. Very good. Huh. By the way, we're blowing the smoke through this sploofy carbon filter. These things are dope for if you want to smoke pot inside and your significant other doesn't like the smell of weed smoke or whoever, or you don't want to smoke and have people coming in thinking your house smells like weed, but you don't want to go outside. It cuts that shit right out, so that's good. This one's pretty good, Leo. I like it. We'll talk about whether or not it got us high next. It smells pretty good too.
No, that was great. Thank you, Leo.
Thanks for the free weed, Leo.
Yeah, no.
Check out Talk Time Hemp. So, our would you rather of the day is: would you rather have the power to make people sleep on command or read minds on command? And so the rule is you can only do it to one person at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can read the minds, or
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't know. I'm just thinking of leaning toward to read minds.
Yeah, that would be cool because
That
you'd be
would
able
be
to learn
cool.
stuff. But you can't just delve into all their thoughts and find out whatever you want. You're reading
What they're thinking at
what
that
they're
current
thinking at that
time.
moment in
Yeah.
time, yeah. But you could say something to prompt them to think about the thing, so yeah. Yeah, that would be cool as fuck. But I was thinking about the sleep thing, and I was like, you have like a legitimate career as an anesthesiologist then,
Yeah, no, that would be cool.
and none of your patients would ever die.
I mean, you could do like some kind of show and read people's minds, and
Oh
and you
yeah.
know people wouldn't know, and you're just kind of doing this gig, and they're like, how the hell does he do that?
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, and
But
then people would think it was just like some bullshit, like you were just really good at being a bullshitter.
I always like to say that I'm psychic, so
Yeah.
you know, if I do something and someone's like, "Oh man, how do you know that?" And I just say, you know, I'm psychic.
Yeah.
So I always like to say that. So
Yeah, it would
I
be
think
cool to
I'd
actually
lean,
be
yeah.
psychic. Yeah. Yeah. Um, this might be an imbalance fucking would you rather, dude. What if you could make multiple people in your line of sight go to sleep at once to balance it out? But you could only read one person's mind at a time. Like anybody who's within your line of sight, you can make them go to sleep. That would be a pretty dope power.
I mean, yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, because then you're like robbed a bank, the cops are coming after you. You just feel like, pow! Nobody has to get hurt. Just everybody falls out. Oh, but what? They fall down and hit their head when they're fucking. You put them to sleep if they're not already
Yeah,
sitting down.
no, yeah, for sure. Then you're killing a bunch of
Yeah.
people.
I was thinking about a real easy way to just harmlessly get away with whatever you want, but no, yeah, you gotta. A couple people are gonna get killed.
For sure.
Yeah.
Some old people, you know, you got some old people
Right.
in your line of sight.
They fall badly.
Yeah.
Old people don't never fall well. That's crazy.
Yeah, they've never taken jujitsu.
Yeah, I've always said the best thing for old people would probably be learning how to break fall and just getting used to the idea of break falling. And so, I feel like if you program it into you enough that if you fall, you're gonna break fall. And so that would solve like so many broken hips. It would stop so many broken bones because their bones are all brittle. But it's like, well, you probably rather break your arm. Like say you break fall and you absorb a little bit too much of the impact. You probably would rather break your arm than your hip for sure.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
gonna heal a lot better. So
Yeah, I went snowboarding with Uncle Joe on Monday, and you know, I kind of, it was only my second time snowboarding, so I kind of suck at snowboarding. I'm getting a little better, but I still suck. And I took some falls,
yeah,
but I took jujitsu a couple times, so I know how to break fall at least.
yeah,
And so I did it. My wrist is a little sore because I hit the ground on my wrist once, but other than that, I'm all good.
very cool. Yeah, I'd highly recommend to anybody in the world to learn how to break fall well. It only takes a couple days of practice, and maybe practice it a couple times a year after that, and you'll be able to pull it off when you need to when you're falling down. So, fuck, dude. I feel like the sleep one would be so dope if you could do multiple people at a time still, though. But yeah, when you're falling down to the ground as you're asleep, it's hard to break fall too. But somehow the old people would manage to
Oh
just
yeah,
die
you can't really break fall
when you're
and,
sleeping.
you know, once you fall asleep, you can't really control what you're.
Yeah, like if you get choked out and then someone drops you, you're just face planting.
Yeah,
Bummer.
those are always the best
Yeah.
UFC moments when someone does that.
Yeah.
It's like it looks so badass.
Yeah. Just drop them. Yeah, 'cause you're standing up. Like if it's on the ground, it's all right. But if you're standing up and then you get to drop them, it's real cool. It's also like you were just there's the guillotine is not actually, as long as you got it good and got it at a nice position down low, it's not a physically strenuous position to hold. You just have to make sure that you're holding it correctly,
Yeah.
and that your head's not going to be able to slip out, and you're changing your base around to maintain that like position over top their head. But it's not like you're like squeezing to death, and so you can really just kind of chill in that position, and then when you're done, you just let them go. And it's like, that's easy, light work. Yeah, once you get them in that position, and so that's pretty dope. But if you could just make them go to sleep on command, then poof,
Yeah,
that'd be cool. But then if you can't see them, they're not
that'd be
sleeping no more.
interesting. I think I'd still lean towards the psychic.
See, here's the thing about psychic, though. You choose the psychic, and then everybody knows. Dude, that weed worked. Everybody
know.
knows not everybody knows. You know a bunch of shit maybe you didn't even want to know. You'd be like, let's see what they're thinking right now. And then they're not even thinking about the thing you wanted to eavesdrop in on.
Yeah.
And then you learn a bunch of information you didn't want to know or whatever, It'd be too much information over time, I think. It would kind of suck.
Well, I guess what you probably, if you don't want to, you don't have to, You don't have to read
Yeah,
the
you could just
person's
stop
mind.
doing it. Yeah. Great.
Hopefully that's how that works.
Yeah.
If it's the other way around, then probably definitely just making people.
Just make everybody you look at fall asleep when you
Yeah.
can't control it.
Yeah, if you can't control it, because I don't want to hear everybody's thoughts all the time. It'd be crazy.
Yeah. That's nuts.
That'd make your own thoughts get to be too much at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, if I could get my brain to shut up, that would be an amazing thing. So, yeah, fuck, dude. I don't know. I probably choose to read minds too, which is sad. Nobody's going on team sleep. But yeah, reading minds is definitely cooler. Even though you've got like just a legitimate career as an anesthesiologist with being Dr. Sleep. Very cool. New Assassin's Creed game came out. You were talking about that.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I saw some weird clip online, but that's all I know about that. They postponed the game, I guess. They didn't have the game ready, so it took them like another half a year to finish it.
Jesus.
They're like half a year late in releasing it.
It's kind of like how 7 Days to Die. They're like they weren't that late in releasing it from the time they said they were gonna release it, but they took like 10 years to develop that motherfucker.
Yeah. Well,
Insane.
the Assassin's Creed's different because it's a franchise, and I think they come out with like a new one every year.
Oh yeah.
I think they got to change that every year thing or do every 2
yeah,
years
they got
or
the
something.
funding there, so
Yeah.
it's a little different. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess there was like some gay scene and then some gay making out scene in the game. I don't know
Between
if
the
that
two
was just
main
like trigger
characters?
bait or whatever, or if that was actual gameplay. But that's
Yeah.
kind of weird. Like you're some badass assassin supposed to be killing a bunch of people and stuff, and you got some random gay scene in the game. That's
Yeah.
pretty weird.
And you're doing gay stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they do that in other games too, but with like straight people. but I never really enjoyed that. I'm
Yeah.
always like, get the fucking. I'm watching this show recently called Invincible. You ever see that show?
No, I don't.
It's
I don't
it's
watch very many shows.
it's a cartoon jobby.
Okay.
But it's based on a comic book. But so this dude's kissing people, multiple times in this show. It's probably been 4 times so far that I've seen this dude kiss people. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, it's probably gets to the point where it's a little too much.
Yeah, I mean,
You
okay,
know,
so it's
a
been over
couple
fucking two
times,
seasons,
you
but
let us know, oh yeah, this guy's gay or whatever. But once you get like over 3, it's like, oh man, this is getting a little excessive. I just want to see some actual,
yeah,
storyline
yeah,
here.
yeah. It's like we get it, they're gay, or we get it, they're straight. We don't give a fuck though. That's the thing. And like, I want to play the game, but to be honest, I don't really typically give too much of a fuck about the story line behind the game, as long
Yeah,
as there's some kind of plot or storyline. I'm like, okay, cool. Like if there's a long cut scene and I can't skip it, I get pissed off. That'll make me not want to play the game.
yeah, I like those hack and slash games where you're just constantly,
Yeah, just running around
doing
fucking shit
something
up.
or
Yeah.
like, there's this game called Hades that's really fun. I need to get back into that one a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played that a couple times. And then I got on the Defender's Quest, and that Defender's Quest is fun. That's like my go-to when I don't want to play one of like the big survival games. I play like Ark and 7 Days to Die, and those are the endless games. I got back into RuneScape recently.
Yeah, no, yeah, you were
Yeah,
telling me.
it's the ultimate Iron Man. Can't use the bank. It's not bad though. I'm in the crafting guild. That's where you go. And then if you get a members account, you can go through the wall there at Falador. I don't know anything about Members World.
Yeah, you just gotta watch like streamers and stuff. If you watch streamers, you'll probably figure it out a little bit. Or
Yeah,
there's cousin Josh. He knows everything.
yeah.
He's in tune with the game.
Yeah, I've been all the places. There's so much more. I feel like on the free world, there was like a good, like 10 years of entertainment. And then I had to start exploring the Members World because
Yeah,
I was like, this is all the same old shit now.
yeah.
There's
No,
like
I
so
know
much
what you
shit.
mean.
It's insane how much shit there is in that game.
Yeah, they keep on adding to it, and it's updated like pretty much weekly.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah, I like that they have to vote to change it. I was thinking about so you bring back like 2007 MySpace and you call it old school MySpace, and then you fucking make it so there's a rule that you have to vote for any changes.
yeah, no, that would be interesting.
You
Better than Facebook for sure.
I know
And
MySpace
then
was so dope.
and then if you could vote on changes and whatnot, then it won't be like overrun with ads and a crappy algorithm that shows you a bunch of crap all the time, and actually like shows you things that your friends are posting and doing, so you can actually interact with your friends better.
That might have been the problem with the MySpace model, because I think what MySpace ended up being for the most part was you had to go to the other people's site. You didn't have a news feed.
Yeah, and with like votes from the community and whatnot, it would help it, you know, just not be a cesspool of garbage all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be cool. Yeah, so you could vote in a news feed, but they could be like, the news feed ain't even the main thing. And we're retaining the ability to customize our own pages. People really stopped giving a shit kind of like how the internet looked at some point around that time. Like everybody was real into like, design everything to look really, really cool. That was the main thing, like make the site look really cool. And cool fonts and all this shit. But then at some point, everybody was like, nah, it's easier to kind of like navigate and read everything when it's all as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Basic. But I liked it when it looked cool. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, you could like customize your pages and have these different layouts.
Yeah.
I remember, back when I was a kid and MySpace was good, I always had like some kind of Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
background. I always thought it was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sometimes you can make like animated backgrounds and shit, and then you could make your site have so much shit that it's trying to do that it would just freeze everybody's computer when you went to it. So then you had to try to make your site not do that, so people would still go to your page. That shit was funny.
Yeah.
Um,
The good old days.
so fucking fascists been fascising.
Yeah, I have a theory that all the left, like the very extreme leftists, are actually fascists.
Oh, what's that based on?
Just the way they communicate with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they attack
Let me
people.
get one of those.
They attack people who feel like
Thanks.
who don't agree with them
Yeah.
and call them fascist.
Yeah.
And that's like, a bad term because, fascists are bad people, it's been associated to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
And so like if you're attacking someone and calling them a fascist because you don't agree with them, that's kind of a fascist tendency,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah, if you're not
before you
this-
call someone a fascist because someone doesn't agree with,
Yeah.
because you don't agree with someone's opinion, just remember that, it's a fascist thing to do to attack someone because of an
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, that's also like the thing is, so like the right does the same exact thing where they'll be like, "You're a commie. If you don't believe this, you're a commie." Doesn't even have to be anything to do with communism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. They could be like trans rights, and they'd be like, "You stupid fucking commie," and it's like that's not what communism actually
Yeah,
means.
no,
but,
They just, I'd see.
just throw it all. So that's how people fit conveniently into the two boxes. Is that if you don't believe my thing, then you are
If you're on
a
the right,
communist
you're
Marxist.
a fascist.
Yeah,
If you're on the left, you're a commie.
yeah,
Or if you don't or if you're not very politically affiliated, but you don't agree with my opinion, you're a commie. You're
Yeah.
still a commie.
yeah. Everybody on the left is trans and wants to diddle your kids, and everybody on the right is a religious bigot who wants to diddle your kids.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
That's a good way to put it.
yeah, so that's how each side views the other side basically, and that's strange. It's strange that it's gotten to that extreme, but I think it was all by design.
It's all by design,
Yeah,
yeah.
for
It's
sure.
those darn rich people.
God darn rich people fucking
I'll tell
shit
you
up,
what,
buddy.
And now we got them all over DC.
We're not talking about the ones making 150K a year. We're talking about the actually rich people, the people you don't hear about in the news, the people who are rich enough to not to ditch the notoriety, right? These people are running the fucking show, brother. What's else going on? Oh, they finally released the JFK files,
Oh yeah, I did see that.
redacted.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of redacted information. I didn't, review the files firsthand because I don't got that sort of time. but
Nah.
That is just what I was reading.
Yeah,
I wasn't hearing it, I was reading it.
And the way people type shit up, especially on the legal end of things, like when it's like for court documents, that shit is so fucking boring to read. Like they make it as boring as possible so that you don't want to learn the language because you're like, what the fuck? Like you're adding words that don't need to be there for no reason, just to pad it and make it so it takes 6,000 years to get to the fucking point. And so, but yeah, somebody was asking me, they're like, you think they'll really release the JFK files? I'm like, they'll really release something. You know, it's going to have black lines all over it. It's like, the real question is how many black lines are going to be there? And I don't know how many there were, but
Yeah.
yeah. So, next, guys, we're gonna do something fun for you. We got something fun for you. It's a tier list of drugs. So that's sick. We're starting out with one of the number one killers as far as drugs is
Oh
concerned.
man, I know which
Yeah,
one that one
it's
is.
a very dangerous, and there's been a lot of money put forth to actually promote the sale of this drug, and it is sugar. Sugar causes a lot of type 2 diabetes, and people get sad when they got that, and they're like, oh no, I need insulin all the time. I had an uncle with diabetes, and he went to just eating mostly keto, and Uncle Jimbo, he went to
Yeah.
eating mostly keto, and he went from giving himself injections 4 times a day to giving himself an injection 1 time a day, and much better health, lost a bunch of weight, all that shit. So cut the sugar down or out. Legit, you don't need a ton unless you're trying to be a bodybuilder, and then like a lot of carbs help out.
Yeah. Peanut butter.
Yeah.
Peanut butter's number one. If you're bulking.
Oh yeah, peanut butter and sugar, milk, yeah,
Ice cream.
ice cream, yeah.
It
Just
doesn't
get
doesn't
the
even have to
calories
be
in
that high in protein.
somehow.
As long as it has some protein in it.
For sure. So yeah, sugar is so basically we're comparing how cool this drug is, like what you're getting out of it, what you want to get out of it. Are you getting that? And then also consider how deadly the drug is. If not used in moderation, and like how hard it is to use that drug out of moderation. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So wait,
So we're rating it A to F.
I'd say that's. Or are we doing S too?
We could do an S. Yeah, we'll do an S
I'd
category.
say sugar's in the S tier for sure.
It's good.
Oh, it's like good for you, or
It's the best.
Oh no, it's like the worst. Okay,
Oh.
so it's an F.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
So
yeah.
yeah, we're rating how good the fucking drugs are for
Okay.
sure. I
So,
wouldn't
yeah,
put it in an F.
I wouldn't
though.
call it an F because it is real. It is kind of.
You could survive on sugar
Yeah, you
if you
kinda
needed
need-
to.
You need it in a way. You can't just like not have sugar.
Well, you can not have sugar, but your body will even make it if you don't have it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but you can not have extraneous sugar. But say you were like stranded on a fucking island, and the only thing you got is coconut milk.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna use the sugar,
For
and it's gonna help you
sure,
survive.
Yeah. So I'd say it's like a C.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
It's hard to moderate when you have an unlimited supply, so that's a con. If you don't have an unlimited supply of it, like you've got rare instances where you can obtain sugar, like you're not quite in the first world yet, then sugar's probably not a problem in your life.
yeah.
And so it's really just the unlimited supply and lack of moderation. But the problem I've always said with food addiction in general is that you can't stop eating. So you just have to like, oh, I'm going to eat only the healthy thing. And the healthy thing, or whatever I'm being told is the healthy thing isn't as good as the thing that I normally eat. And so, but you still have to eat. And you're like, ugh, I don't want to eat this bullshit. Whereas any other drug, you can just be like, I'm quitting the drug. And all I have to do is not do the drug. And so it's way easier, I think, to get off of because you can actually get off of them.
I think a good rule of thumb is just to stay away from all that processed shit.
Yeah, single ingredient foods is what I've always said. Like you buy the single ingredients and you put them together yourself. And I cheat on that. Like if I want a pie, I will buy a pie crust. Like I'm not making the pie crust. Fuck that. I don't make pasta noodles from the wheat. But other than that, like that kind of stuff, I usually don't bake bread either. Other than that kind of stuff, I try to buy single ingredients and put them together. Do you ever make pasta or bread or wheat or anything? Or sorry, not wheat, pasta or bread or?
Yeah, I mean, I'll make pasta and stuff sometimes.
No, you like make the noodles.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah.
No. I don't do anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. It would be cool though. You could probably make way higher quality pasta. You buy your own single ingredients. It's just a matter of like how dedicated are you really willing to be to eating like a totally healthy diet. And I think it's like anything else, um, like if you want to get a room 95% clean, like if you want to get a room like 80% clean, it's going to be super easy. But if you want to get a room like 95% clean, it's going to be pretty hard. But if you want to get a room 100% clean, well, you probably couldn't even really, but 99.9% clean, you're going to have to put some serious fucking effort into it. Install like a negative HVAC, draw to it.
Yeah.
Like make it a
sure.
negative pressure room. I can put all kinds of sanitizing chemicals in it. So it's it's the same thing with having a healthy diet. I feel like I'm like, as long as my diet's like pretty much 90% good, I feel pretty good about it. So yeah, fuck sugar. C tier though, because it could keep you alive and it's pretty good. Like I like it. As far as the high, whack. What I do after I eat sugar is I get tired.
Yeah. Tired or yeah.
The
Or
helping
you feel like crap because you ate too much.
yeah, the helping you survive factor honestly is the only thing floating that thing up to a C. I might put it at a D honestly, upon further consideration.
Yeah.
But next we got caffeine. Now caffeine, the cool thing about caffeine is if you overdose on it, you're having a very bad time. So it's hard to abuse caffeine. Have you
Yeah.
ever had like way too much caffeine?
I don't think so. I've
Uh,
always been very like mindful of my caffeine consumption. I've never really gone like 600 milligrams has probably always been like what I've considered to be a max dose for me.
that's a lot.
I won't go over 600 in one day.
That's
But
good.
usually I do like usually I only do like 200. Like I usually only do one of these a day.
Dude, I used to fucking, because I was like, yeah, I'm going to get high off the caffeine when I was younger. I was kind of stupid, dude. And I went to fucking Starbucks and ordered an Octo Espresso. And so I said, how many shots of espresso can you fit in one of those little cups? And they were like 8. And I was like, I will take 8 shots of espresso. And they were like, we're going to call it the Octo Espresso from now on. And then I drank it.
And so that's probably a bad idea.
They were like, damn, dude, are you sure? And then they were like, you want any cream or sugar or anything? I was like, nah, just Octo Espresso. And then I drank the whole thing, and then I felt really bad. I felt so bad. It was gross. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, I can't like just down like downing a whole energy drink in one go. That's too much. I usually do like half,
Yeah,
and then I'll save it for like an hour later, and then I'll do another half.
yeah. Yeah, I drink probably the equivalent of 2 shots of espresso every morning. And then if I feel like
How
I'm
much
trying to
is that?
stay up later, 200 milligrams. And then if I'm trying to stay up later, I'll do it again. So my caffeine intake never gets over like 400 now. And that's if you can moderate caffeine intake, which should be pretty easy because, I mean, if you're really paying attention to how you feel, you'll notice that you're not having a good time on fucking 400 milligrams of caffeine. I don't know why you think you're having a good time, but you're not.
Yeah.
That's terrible. It's gross. It's like different hydramine. So, wait, where are we putting caffeine on the tier list?
I mean, I'd put it at A because it is like it is nice. It helps.
Yeah.
It makes you feel awake.
Yeah, it's
Um,
you
and
can
gives
get
you
addicted to it.
gives you that boost in the morning. Yeah, it is pretty addictive.
Like-
Everybody's addicted to
Well,
coffee.
yeah,
Everybody needs their morning coffee.
yeah, and you can be physically dependent on it too, though. Like, so you're not physically dependent on it necessarily, but you get a fucking headache when you get off of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and it's because your brain's not used to your blood vessels being that open. That's what I read, and that the extra flow of blood to your brain for that many continuous hours when you normally don't have it gives you a headache because your brain's getting used to the excessive blood flow.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And so if you just wait a day, you're good. But that first day without caffeine sucks. you're just like having a bad time. You got a headache. You can't drink your water to your way out of it. You know.
Yeah, sometimes on my days off, I don't go anywhere, and then I won't get caffeine,
Yeah.
and therefore I just don't have caffeine, and I don't drink it. I can do it. It always feels weird, and like I'm always like the day feels kind of weird, and then like halfway through the day I'll realize, oh, I didn't have any caffeine today. That's why I
Yeah.
feel so freaking off, and I'm had to take a nap in the middle of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. So caffeine could definitely get an A. Um, I'm not putting it in an S because it's not that amazing, but it is like in general like a really good leveled out drug. And so
Good,
that's the
like
thing
for like
though.
if you're working out in the gym, it's a good like performance and enhancing boost. You know,
Yeah.
get the pre-workout going.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck, I could almost S tier it because to be honest, if it was super amazing, like say, oh, doing caffeine makes you feel like doing cocaine, there's no way that would be sustainable. You can't just keep doing it all the time and get the same effect. So you could fucking S tier caffeine. It's got its own moderation. Um, like it like encourages you to do everything in moderation already.
You ever see the videos of people like overdosing on like pre-workout on YouTube? People do
Yeah.
these like crazy amounts of pre-workout and like pretty much almost die. I know there's this like one kid who did like this like crazy amount on YouTube, and I think he posted that video and he never posted another video after that. So I don't know if he died or if he was just like, yeah, YouTube's not for me. I just do dumb things on there. But yeah, that was pretty interesting.
That's
Watch.
terrible. Okay.
I always like to watch those because I was like, how could people be so dumb? That's pretty stupid.
Yeah, so we'll fucking A tier for the caffeine. Good job, caffeine. You beat sugar. And next we'll do marijuana. So THC. But THC, marijuana.
I don't know. I'd say S tier for the THC. Well, the marijuana isn't a drug. It's the plant. It's THC's the drug that the
Right.
plant produces.
Exactly.
Um,
So and of course you can just extract the THC and use that. But that is different. And I noticed at some point in my life that feels different. If you haven't ever done a dab before and you do a dab, you're going to get like real high. But for some reason, when you're extracting the THC out of this thing, it's selectively taking some of the terpenes, whatever, leaving some behind. Some of the stuff is getting left out. There's some part of that plant that's getting left out that makes the experience feel different. Like it's almost less. Like I could take a dab pen and hit a dab pen all day at work if I wanted to. Not that I ever do. But I could if I wanted to, and I would be fine to do all the math and everything that I got to do, write up all the fucking jobs. Like, it would not hinder my ability to do that. But if I went to work and took a fat bong rip, I would be not fine. I would be like, where's the thing? Like, what was I looking for just now? Like, going to look in my tabs, you know? There's too much to keep track of. That for me to have a flower high at work. So it's like the drug has various uses depending on how you administer the drug too. If you eat the weed, like if you eat a fat weed brownie, like that's like time to just hang out,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like those pens. Pens never do it for me. I just don't. Like, it's just like I feel like something's left out.
Yeah,
Like
something's
even
missing.
compared to the dabs.
For sure. Yeah, the dabs get you higher than the pens. I think you can just take a way fatter dab too.
Yeah.
So it hits you
Yeah,
like
I'll
right
just take
away.
a fat dab.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the little pens when I'm out and about because I can just kind of keep a nice little level chill. Like I don't feel it, but I'm just chill, you know.
Yeah, I was hitting the pen while I was snowboarding. That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got all burnt up, but I forgot the
The
snow.
reflection from the snow.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
never around snow, so I don't think, oh, I should wear sunscreen in the middle of winter. But yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely gotta wear sunscreen in the middle of winter if you're up on the mountain.
Dude, I was out cutting fucking weeds for when I landscaped for a living, and it was on this hill slope, and we were supposed to go and find every desert broom and cut it out. Or no, we were going and finding every desert broom and spraying it with glyphosate, and then we were gonna go cut them all out later once they were dead. But so the way to do it is you cut it all out. You put a bunch of glyphosate on all of it, and you can see those desert brooms because they grow out really green. And so if you see any green a month later, then you know you missed some when you were spraying, and then you spray the rest. And so, but it was the whole hill slope was covered in snow, and I was out there for like 4 hours, no sunglasses, couldn't see shit.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, I remember I forgot sunglasses the one time I went. The first time I went snowboarding.
Yeah,
And oh, it was awful. I was like this the whole time, and the girl I was with gave me her sunglasses because she could deal with the snow a little better than I could.
yeah.
I couldn't see shit.
Yeah, that was bad, dude. I had a real bad time that day.
Yeah.
Because you had to look for the fucking desert broom, too, because there's a bunch of mesquite trees and stuff. So you had to, like, pick it out with your eyes. So you had to be fucking searching. And the glare.
Yeah, that snow blindness is the worst.
Yeah. Or getting on top of a white roof and being up there all day without sunglasses. Oh, I went and fucking got a new glasses prescription yesterday. I'm getting the kind that change. Now I'll never need sunglasses
Oh,
again.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, very dope. So marijuana, yeah, you could just about S tier it. It is
addictive.
it is dangerous for some people. Some people are psychotic. Some people have latent schizophrenia that hasn't been woken up yet. You should always, if you're the first time trying marijuana, be with somebody who has experience with marijuana and who is going to be able to keep their cool and call the fucking, whatever if need be. But don't call the whatever, because you don't need to go to the hospital. You just need to ride it out.
Yeah, I freaked out once. I remember freaking out once when I was still new to smoking weed.
Yeah.
And I was just smoking too much. I was with a couple buddies from high school, and I was trying to compete with them, but I didn't smoke in high school. I had just started smoking like right after high school. And so these guys had been smoking like all of high school, and they were, seasoned weed smokers.
Yeah,
and,
super high
but
tolerance.
I thought I could keep up with them, so I keep on every time it's my turn. I keep taking a hit, and then eventually I start feeling like I'm drooping, and I'm probably like just slouching down in my seat, not realizing that I need to sit up a little bit or something. But I start freaking out, thinking, "Oh man, like my left side of the face is drooping. Like, am I having a stroke or something?" I told my buddies, "I think I'm having a stroke." And they're like, "There's no way you're having a stroke. You're too young." And I'm like, "Oh man, I just don't feel right." They're like, "Just give it a little bit. You'll be good. You'll be good."
Just are you breathing, bro? Could you try breathing?
And yeah, it's just if you, but yeah, luckily they're seasoned weed smokers. They were able to calm me down. But yeah, if you smoke too much, or if you get the wrong stuff and you get that K2 crap
not weed.
that makes you freak out on people and want to fight them and
That shit was weird.
whatnot. Yeah, I had a buddy who attacked somebody once at the county fair because he smoked some K2 at the fair, and then he freaked out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was weird. They emergency scheduled all that stuff. I was selling that in the halfway house back when it was like real popular. And then I was making hundreds of dollars. And then I had to stash my cash because you weren't allowed to have more than $100 on you. So I was like the halfway house drug dealer. And it's because it was the only thing you could smoke and pass a piss test with it. And they were like really trying to crack down on the shit. But yeah, I smoked that until they took it away. And then what happened when they took that away was they came out with these new chemicals. And like the K2 would last like 2 hours, and if you didn't smoke too much, it was kind of like a weed high. Like you could like be like, yeah, I'm high and it's cool. And but then they came out with this new shit that would last like 15 minutes and would make you feel like if you like held in a hit for too long, like one little hit for too long, you would feel like God was coming to smite you and just have a very bad time for 15 minutes.
Yeah, it sounds wild. Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Nowadays, it's that's even getting that by mistake's gonna be very rare.
Yeah.
But it used to be common. Like someone would just sell you K2,
or someone would
instead
just
of-
pass you a bowl with it in it, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't say anything because they're like, it's whatever. It's the thing everybody's doing right now. Yeah. Yeah, it was bad for a minute. And then they got rid of all of that shit, and then weed started getting legalized. Maybe that's what made the push for weed to get legalized.
Yeah, that's
In
probably,
like
yeah.
Colorado, they were like, okay, actually, it'd be better if we just let people smoke some pot.
Yeah, it's been legalized in Colorado for a long time now. I feel like
Yeah, yeah. Well,
at
and
least 10 years.
California did the medical like back in the '90s,
Oh, really?
'97, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a long. That's like 20. That's like 27 years ago.
Yeah, but Colorado is the first recreational state. Okay, so marijuana we're putting in the S or A tier maybe. You might A tier it. There's the other thing where marijuana can make you complacent. People are like, weed makes you lazy. Weed doesn't make you lazy. Weed potentially makes you complacent with your surroundings. If you're already likely to be complacent, like you're like, actually, I just love sitting here and playing Red Dead Redemption or whatever, and that's the thing that you want to do, weed's gonna make it way better to just do that.
Yeah.
And so you might set aside some of your life, your life responsibilities if you already have the tendency to set aside your life's responsibilities. And if you need to like get a fucking work ethic or something, it might be a good idea to set weed aside for a couple months and develop that work ethic in yourself, and then maybe try and pick it back up and see how you do. But yeah, so marijuana could get an S tier as long as you know how to use it right. Nicotine.
Yeah, no, even when I was in my best shape, going to the gym every day and all that, I was smoking weed every day, you know.
I love smoking weed before the gym.
Yeah, no,
I used to take a fat rip of weed before the
I
gym.
would
dude.
always take a big dab before walking into the gym, and
Yeah.
then, I'd tell people that I did that, and they're like, "Oh, how the hell do you do that? How the hell do you take
The
smoke
pump
it?"
feels so good when you're on the weed. If you're doing the pump range, I don't feel like I perform as well when I'm trying to lift really heavy weight, like in the 3 to 5 rep range on the weed. But I perform probably better in the 12 to 20 rep range, where I'm like really just getting it in and getting a pump. But I think my focus overall, like my actual total focus on lifting heavier weight, is a little bit compromised with the weed.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really ever notice a difference.
Yeah.
Actually, I always like going to the gym, smoking before going to the gym, just because
Yeah.
it just make me a little easier going around people. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people at the gym, so
Oh yeah.
it's just
I
yeah.
haven't been in the gym in over a year.
Yeah, it's been.
I
it's
forget
been a
how much
while.
it sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does suck. But okay, on the what we're up
Nicotine.
to nicotine. I'd say nicotine's S tier.
Nicotine's dope.
Yeah,
Nicotine, depending on the administration.
Yeah, depending, if you're smoking cigarettes every day, that's probably
terrible.
pretty bad for you.
Yeah.
But if you're just taking straight up nicotine without the tobacco,
Yeah. If you're vaping it, also bad. It's
yeah,
probably
vaping's
causing
probably bad.
inflammation in your lungs. I feel like there's going to be a lot of information that comes out about vaping that
I
really
do not like
exposes it as
vaping.
not being that good. Yeah. It fucks my lungs up.
Yeah, mine too.
Pouches is cool. It kind of hurts my gums if I keep the pouch in the same location all the time. So a pouch might still have a little bit of potential for tooth loss, like the same issues that chew has.
I like the pouches. I don't think it's the same.
No, I don't think it's the same, but I think it might still have a little bit of potential. Like I feel like chewing tobacco is way worse.
I mean, I used to chew, and I still do from occasion, and like I'll grab a can maybe if I'm somewhere that doesn't have my favorite nicotine pouches. I'll just grab a can of chew instead.
Yeah.
And oh man, it just I feel it like it's after even just one can, I'm like, oh man, this hurts my lip.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with this stuff for like another year.
Yeah.
I don't like the chew.
Yeah, the pouches, I just move them around. That's my solution.
So yeah, definitely. I guess that could. It's hard to get nicotine, administered in a way that doesn't.
Yeah, a patch is probably, honestly, the safest way. And then gums, probably second. And then pouches third. Pouches of nicotine.
But yeah, I mean, nicotine. I feel like it's a nice. It's a good,
Yeah, it
I
helps me
don't feel like
focus.
there's any like very many negatives to
Yeah.
it.
If you have already like high blood pressure, it could be bad because of the vasoconstriction.
Okay.
But if you're like going to the gym, you just use a vasodilator with it.
Yeah, I usually don't. I usually take them out before working out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a really super good time working out with a lot of nicotine, but I will. I'll do a 3 milligram. I like the 3 milligram pouches.
But yeah, I like nicotine. It helps you focus and like
Yeah.
it just gives. It is addictive. It's very addictive. I'd say it's probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it gives, I mean, there is like a 3-day withdrawal.
Yeah.
So like,
If you factor in the bad, I've never actually had an issue.
but it's
Coming
easy.
off of nicotine.
I mean, it's not
Yeah.
hard to quit. Like I feel like it's pretty darn easy.
Yeah,
You
when
just have to have like be committed to wanting to do it.
when I was in jail, people would buy ass tobacco. The tobacco that got smuggled in the ass. What
Oh,
these
that's
people would do,
gross.
so they smuggle it in a glove finger, right? And then you tie the glove finger up, and then you got a finger, or two or three. Most people that were smuggling would put like 3 or 4 glove fingers up their ass. And then they would come in and they'd shit them all out into the toilet. So they're all just like little turds coming out. And then, and then they'd wash it all off. And so like it's honest, and they would double glove finger it. I watched a guy do it one time. I was like, okay, he had two layers on the glove finger. He's like, you do the second layer so you don't get shit in like through the knot or whatever. And so it's probably 99.9% free of shit. But so then they take this ass tobacco and they roll it up in toilet paper wrapper. Because the toilet paper wrapper was this super thin waxed paper. So you take hot water from the sink and you rinse the wax off, and then you stick it up on the wall, and then you rip it into little cigarette-sized papers, and then you just put a sprinkle of tobacco across the cigarette, and you'd sell that for a whole food tray, which was at the time considered to be worth about $2 worth of commissary. So like 2 soups food tray.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So people would trade, because they didn't have any money, people would trade 1 or 2 food trays a day for 1 or 2 of these little ass tobacco cigarettes.
No, that's not worth it. It's easier to quit.
Insane. Yeah, and I'm like, you don't need nicotine for anything. You want to fucking get sharper at your poker game? Like, what are you doing? So yeah, it's real strange there with the tendency for people to really fiend over nicotine. I would fucking B tier it. For me, it's an A or S tier drug. I like it, actually, but I could go without it too. Honestly, I'll B tier it.
Yeah, I could go without it
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
So we're giving nicotine a B. Sorry, nicotine. Opiates.
I have like no experience. Maybe once, I remember taking Vicodin as a kid. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, back when I had my wisdom teeth surgery, I took some Vicodin, and I remember liking it and wanting to take more. But
Yeah.
I mean, I was like 13, so I don't really remember much.
Yeah. I had a pill stint when I was younger because I was stealing them from my grandpa-in-law, or step-grandpa, whatever. And they were felt pretty good. And then I had a stint where I smoked heroin for 2 weeks, and that it was amazing. It was so amazing to be sitting there, no anxiety, just having a good time, but you're nodding out, you know, and trying to smoke a cigarette, and then you're burning yourself with the cigarette, but you just wake up and you go, ah, and you wipe it, and you don't care because everything's cool because you just smoked some heroin. Heroin is way more likely to make you complacent than marijuana, and it's a bad drug. And then I got sick because there was none left. And my friend was like, oh, yeah, they're not going to get any till Monday. And I was like, oh, shit. And I went to my grandma's and I was sick as fuck. And she was like, are you on drugs? And I was like, no. I was like, I'm just really sick. I was super sick for 2 days, just throwing up, having a bad time, couldn't eat anything.
Terrible.
And then I never did it again. It was a great introduction to heroin. I was like, this is amazing. That's what all the hype is about. And then I got the sickness, and I was like, oh, fuck that. And then my friend was like, he's got it again. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Oh, I never messed with the stuff.
So I feel like if you needed opiates and you're using it, the problem is the moderation, because it feels really good. If you could use it in moderation for an injury or whatever, there's a definite place for that. It's very effective at killing the pain. But it's got so much potential for abuse. It's insane. And I'd throw it in the old D tier probably for that reason. I fucking feel so good though. You put it in a D or C, but I feel like it's so hard, and I feel like it would be really hard for most people to moderate their intake of that. So moving on. What do you think about the tier on the opiates?
Yeah, I guess it's good to deal with the pain, but yeah, it's D. D is like the very maximum, I'd say.
Yeah. So meth or Adderall, amphetamines.
I did a lot of Adderall in college. I would like snort it and whatnot.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was pretty. I mean, I wouldn't say it was very addictive or anything. Like I was never like, I need this. I just liked it.
Yeah, I never understood the addiction to meth because it's all right if you do a low enough amount. If you do too much, you're just fucking it's not a good time, you know.
Yeah.
You're just all over the place. You actually can't focus anymore. Like, so it's bad. But say you did like 130 milligram Adderall, you're gonna be real focused on whatever you're trying to focus on. It's useful. I did some research because I was thinking about getting into Adderall just as a general, like helping out my ADHD, just a low dose every day. And people are like, even if you start out at a very low dose and taper up as you need to for the loss of effect, your maximum hope is getting 10 years out of it before there's no positive, or before the negative effect reaches the positive effect. There's almost no positive effect anymore. And then you have to get off of it, and then your brain never works the same again.
Yeah.
So, as a long-term, like, solution to your ADHD, I think Adderall is dog shit. As a, like, trying to study to get through college for a year, probably all right, as long as you were really, very moderate with your use of it.
Yeah.
4 years of college and only using it, 2 or 3 days a week, whatever, it's probably not too bad.
Yeah, I was always I was like a very big procrastinator. Always have been. And so I'd always, wait till the last minute to do all my work.
Yeah.
And so then, I'd take some Adderall, to cram in, the last 8 hours, try to cram in the freaking paper or whatever I had to do to turn in. So yeah.
Yeah, well, then they did all these studies.
So I would do that. I mean, I think it would help me focus. I'd be more, I would be, and then I'd be able to stay awake so I could get it done, so I wouldn't fall asleep.
Yeah, and they did all these studies, and they're like, Adderall won't help you do better on a test. But that's not what people are using it for. People
Yeah.
are using it
stay
specifically
awake.
so that they can sit down and focus on the thing.
Yeah.
Like you got all these other distractions and shit at home. It's like so hard to cut yourself off from every possible distraction. You're like, oh, maybe I'll go get some food. There's like all these things you're thinking about doing besides the thing sometimes because you really don't want to do the fucking thing because it sucks and it's just somebody forcing you to do the thing. And so that for that purpose, Adderall is amazing.
And I always liked mixing it with THC. They called it the Matterall.
Adderall.
And yeah, I always liked that. I always liked to feel good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a very high tier.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you would have to separate meth from Adderall because
Yeah,
Adderall.
I've never tried meth. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, and the problem with meth is that a lot of people like to smoke it. That's how I always did it. The couple times I did it, and it was you just don't know how much you're getting, and then they keep passing it back to you. Maybe I'll keep hitting it, you know, and then you can do way too much, way too easy. And so with the Adderall, you're like, okay, I'm going to do a 30 milligram pill or a 15 milligram pill, and then that's it. And then I'm going to go about my day, which is a much healthier way to administer, a drug. And so that's nice about the Adderall. I would almost like C tier Adderall because of just its potential to help you with stuff. But I might D tier it because honestly, I wouldn't use Adderall. In my life today.
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't need it.
Same.
Yeah.
D. I mean, if I absolutely needed to, like, if I had something, and maybe I'd think about like something I actually absolutely needed to get done. Maybe I'd think about using it, but
Yeah. Yeah, and then meth can straight F tier. It's
Yeah,
not
no.
useful at all. It sucks. Acid, LSD.
I'd say it's like a B tier.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a good.
Can't do it all the
It's
time.
just there's a negative. I mean, you got to make a big commitment.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah, you can't be responsible for anything.
Yeah, for like 24 hours.
Straight up.
At least.
You don't want to go do
and
the
then
thing
another
the
8
next
to
day.
12 hours so you can sleep.
Yeah.
After those 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got 12 hours for the drug to be doing a thing. I honestly, what I started doing was like, if I want to do acid, I'll take it at 2 in the afternoon. And then by 2 in the morning, I can kind of get down to sleep a little bit. And then I wake up at 7 in the morning anyway, because that's what I do. And so then the next day, the whole next day is shit. I'm not going to be good for like anything crazy. Like, I don't want to go to work the next day after an acid trip. That would be terrible.
No, you want to sleep and reflect.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've like you can have like bad experiences like at the time. Like I've had I was having a bad experience once, but looking back on it, it wasn't really all that bad of experience. Actually, kind of a good experience. Like it was, taught me a lesson, I guess.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've had a lot of those.
But yeah, no, it's a very eye-opening drug.
Yeah, and you can only do it like every 2 weeks.
Yeah, you don't want to do it all the time or you'll fry out your brain. Or you could do like
well, and it doesn't work.
You could like microdose on it like every couple of days, every 3 days.
Yeah.
I did that once and it was like things I did it for like a week or two and
How much?
I would do like a freaking tenth of a tab or a quarter of a tab. Like I would just cut up my tabs into like really tiny pieces.
Yeah, I did volumetric dosing and like really fucking prepared the thing, the whole vial, very meticulously so that I would have 10 milligram or 10 microgram doses, and I still felt it.
Yeah, like I wouldn't like feel it, but like the colors would be just a little more vivid.
Yeah.
And it would be like not. It was actually pleasant because I wasn't, it wasn't like tripping balls or anything.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, things are a little more.
Yeah.
Cooler today,
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. I wasn't super into microdosing that way though.
Yeah.
I had a lot more fun microdosing shrooms, and not necessarily microdosing, but taking like 2 stems. And just having a slightly brighter day. But yeah, I would definitely, I'd like B or C tier acid because it's super amazing, but it lasts. every time I've ever done acid, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this to be
Yeah,
done.
no, same.
Yeah.
But music is absolutely fantastic. Like I, there's nothing better than taking a tab of
Yeah.
acid and listening to a
Yeah.
good album of your favorite music.
Yeah, and if you're partying with other people who are also tripping on acid and you're like all having like a crazy I've had some really crazy cool experiences with a bunch of other people tripping on acid too.
I've had
Definitely
some
worth
really
a
weird
couple.
experiences though too.
Yeah. Yeah,
People like
with people you
acting
don't know
weird.
that
Yeah.
well.
Well, it was like in college, and these like we were all tripping, and these guys in the room below us were just acting really weird. Like just started acting really weird, and I was like, oh man, I gotta get out of here. These guys are being weird.
Yeah.
And they're kind of
Yeah.
like talking to themselves and whatnot, and I was just like, oh, this is getting weird.
Yeah, that's wild. I left a party one time and everybody was trying to convince me not to leave, but I thought they were like cops or they were trying to take over the world or something, and I left. It was bad.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean things can get a little weird on acid, but overall it's a pretty cool experience. And
Yeah. Yeah, you get the thought loops on acid. I was talking about that on the last
yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
That's the real risk is getting a thought loop and then not being able to just calm yourself down out of it. Like you always got to remember like I am tripping on acid and everything is all right. Like I am definitely just overthinking some shit right now.
Yeah, and
So,
the worst part is, yeah, just staying, like, not being able to fall asleep when you want to fall asleep and you're tired. And
yeah, it
towards the
sucks.
end of the trip, like, if you're, sometimes it can last up to 24 hours, even longer,
Yeah, I'll see
depending
to
on
it.
the amount you take and all that.
Yeah, I've never taken it and had it last like actually last longer than 12 hours, but I have had where I smoked weed the next day and the weed was really weird. Like the experience was really
Okay.
weird then. Um, so yeah, I'll see to your acid, but then that
I
comes to
would,
our
I'd be to it.
that comes to our next psychedelic, which is shrooms, which basically I consider shrooms to be like less intense, like less stimulating acid and shorter acting acid. And so for something that you actually want to do to like say like, oh, we're going to go out and go camping or maybe go out for a day on the lake. You could go out for a day on the lake and take a gram of shrooms and have a good time and pack up after the day on the lake and go home like it wasn't like you
Like,
weren't like
weren't
you
just
never
tripping
tripped.
balls,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you can't do that with acid. Like if you do
Yeah.
that with acid, you got to camp. And so shrooms I would give an A tier because of that.
I'd say it's S tier because there isn't really any negative
Yeah.
effects. I mean,
Sometimes
as long
sometimes
as
you
you
get
don't eat like
nauseous.
the wrong kind of mushroom and die because it's actually a poisonous mushroom
Oh yeah, that would
you
suck.
can't ingest.
But actually psilocybin mushrooms, I would say I would A tier them because sometimes they make your stomach a little
I mean, you might
and
throw
like
up on them, but
yeah.
I
But
mean, you
yeah,
still have a good time after you throw up.
yeah, you don't feel like absolute shit the next day you
Yeah.
do shrooms, which is nice. That's like MDMA. So shrooms, yeah, I'll give an A tier. You can give an S tier.
I'd say S. Yeah, there's nothing really negative to them, and they're very eye-opening and fun
Yeah.
experience. And every time I've done them, I haven't done them
Yeah.
many times, but whenever I do them, it's always a fun experience.
Yeah, I'd high A tier 'em.
Mushroom tea, you can't go wrong drinking some mushroom tea
Yeah.
in the woods with some buddies.
So shrooms are dope. MDMA.
MDMA is nice. It's a good drug. I mean, it fries fries your serotonin receptors. Is
Well, so what it does is it uses up all your serotonin.
it? Yeah.
It's serotonergic, whereas the other ones they attach to your serotonin receptors and then they're less sensitive for a while. That's what acid and shrooms will do. Um, so they're less sensitive. So when your serotonin attaches to them, you might not get quite the same feeling from actual serotonin for a little while, for 2 weeks after. But with MDMA, it depletes your serotonin, and then it's up to how long it takes your body to replenish that. And if you keep doing it, your body's gonna start having issues with it after a while. And so, just attaching tons of serotonin to your receptors is a bad go at it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back when I was younger. I know a guy who abused it really badly. He would do it like every night at work
Oh
and
yeah,
whatnot.
terrible.
He would like drink. He would always have Molly water to drinking it, but I don't. I would always use it very sparingly.
Yeah.
But I guess it does have the potential for abuse.
Yeah. No, and the key I think is to do like 100 milligrams. Like you're not rolling, man. And there's so much potential for therapy and like going through your shit and dealing with stuff like PTSD. And so for that purpose, if you can use it in moderation, and if you can get clean stuff, if you're not buying random pills at a rave and going and dancing all night, or you're hot and you just did 300 milligrams and your brain's basically frying, if you can just use 100 milligrams of MDMA and sit there and talk out whatever shit you need to talk out, I think MDMA is a fucking S tier.
I think that's what they use with my buddy Bobby, my coworker, the 71-year-old guy that I hang out with sometimes.
Yeah.
He got struck by lightning once, and he had like severe PTSD from the lightning strike, and
Yeah.
so uh, he went to California. I think he was already in California, but he went to this place in California where he met Terrence McKenna, and he was doing like some kind of therapy with Terrence. That's how he met him, was because he was working like Terrence was working like drug therapy with him. I think that's what my buddy Bobby was doing, was MDMA, so he could get over his lightning strike PTSD.
Yeah. It's very cool. I think it has the most potential for healing and that kind of factor. Probably even better than mushrooms, honestly. It feels so comfortable to just let go and talk. It's almost like in
Yeah.
that moment that that's where you want to go, is to those places that you never wanted to visit before, because you can just look at it objectively and be like, oh, that's crazy, and like I felt that way about it, and that's nuts, and you're so empathetic about like the person you were in that position and stuff, and you can forgive yourself for shit and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
no,
amazing.
yeah. I really like MDMA. It's a nice experience. I haven't done it in
Yeah.
a long time, but
Yeah, no more
I
than once every
always,
3 months, and
yeah,
honestly, like you probably no more than once a year.
once a year if that.
But a fucking amazing drug. Okay, so
Um,
we agree on that one. That one's a fucking high
it's
tier
like
drug.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's probably like a A.
Yeah, I'd S
I
it.
mean,
So
as
we're the
long as you
opposite on
don't,
the shrooms and
as
MDMA.
long as you don't like. As
Abuse
the
it,
thing is,
yeah.
I think shrooms doesn't have any potential
Potential for
for
abuse.
abuse,
That's true.
whereas
Yeah,
MDMA does have some kind of potential for abuse because I've seen it.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, so MDMA could get the A tier.
The dude who was
The potential
dealing,
is S
the
tier
dude
though.
who was dealing the MDMA literally had to cut my friend off, my coworker off, because he was just like, dude, you're buying too much. Like I don't, you're gonna freaking hurt yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's whack. So DMT.
Um, I mean, you know what Terrence McKenna says. Terrence McKenna says that he thinks every person should experience, a DMT trip before they die. It's like, I think he said it. I think he said it. Whereas, it's like dying without having sex.
Yeah. I don't really think it's for everyone.
Yeah, I
Like
don't think
some
so
people
either.
aren't into it. Like some people just aren't into exploring like any kind of spirituality or anything either. And so it's
Some
like,
people want to know what to think of it. They'd just be even
yeah.
more confused.
Yeah, some people it's definitely not for. But if you're like into exploring spirituality, you've been interested in and were very had a great experience on any kind of psychedelic, DMT is definitely a good one-time try. I don't feel like there's really much potential for abuse, although some people get really obsessed with like, what is it? That's what I did when I first, and then I learned to extract it, so I had a pretty good amount that I just had my disposal. And so when I first got into it, I was fucking into it. And then I was like, what is this place? And trying to figure it out. And then at some point I realized I'm never going to understand this thing.
Yeah, I'd like to smoke it again, but it's been a long time. And
Yeah.
I've never got hardcore and like big into smoking it all. I've only done it a few times. So.
Yeah.
But I've always like it's a really nice experience. I really yeah
Yeah,
I
it's
really
insane.
enjoyed my experience with it.
Yeah.
I think it's really great. Probably my favorite
Yeah. For
drug
the
experience of all time.
for people who don't know what DMT is, I mean, you basically smoke this stuff, and if you get the right dose, which like people are like, you gotta take the third hit. Sometimes you can get there in 2 hits. Sometimes you can get there in one. It depends how well you took the hit and how long you hold the hit for. But you got to keep taking hits until you can't take hits, and then you get transported by some means to another dimension, essentially, and maybe you really do, maybe you really don't. I feel like you're at a space in your mind where um, the illusion of reality has been dissolved and you're experiencing interacting with other entities. And it's very strange. Um, these entities can tell you truths about yourself. Sometimes you're just maybe you're not interacting with other entities. Maybe there's crazy symbols running down the wall. I had that one time. It was like matrix coding running down all the walls, and my eyes were open, but I felt like my eyes were closed, whether I closed them or opened them, and but I could see the entire dimensions of the room, and there was matrix coding running down the entire wall, and all the walls, all over the couch. The people were deleted from the room that were in the room with me. And then I felt like I like slipped into a pool of pink goo and I was being coddled by God for the next eternity.
Yeah, I remember being like transported through this tunnel of just like flashing colors all over, just surrounding me, and then I found myself in this waiting room where I'm just staring at this other being, like this being that was created by beings. The self transforming elf machines transformed into this like god looking being, and I was
Yeah.
just like staring at it, and I didn't know what to do. And then the next thing you knew, these cows started mooing, and I woke up. Oh, I didn't. I came back to this dimension.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nuts.
But yeah, so Terrence McKenna, who I mentioned just a little earlier, this is his expertise. If you do want to learn more about DMT, Terrence McKenna does a very good job of describing the DMT realm.
Yeah.
He did a lot of it.
Dude's very poetic. So yeah, I would DMT. Uh, I would say not necessary, not all the time. If you're really into like having insane experiences, but not being insane, you're totally in like your real headspace when you do this, which is the other part that's really weird. You don't feel like mentally altered. You're just having this experience with almost a sober mental state, and if you're into that kind of thing, then I would fucking S tier it as far as it being
Yeah.
amazing. Almost no potential for it. If you're doing it alone and you lay down on your back, you could choke on your vomit. That's the only danger of DMT. It's not you can't overdose on it or anything. So
Yeah, no potential for abuse. Not like you wake up or you come back to the dimension. You're like, oh man, I gotta do this again.
yeah.
I need this.
Yeah, and so and yeah, sometimes if you don't make it there, you're like, "Fuck, I want to try again," and then you don't make it there again because you're kind of like developing a tolerance. I've done that before, but yeah, no potential for abuse really, unless you're a fucking weirdo. So I would S tier it for people that really want to try it. But if you hear about it and it doesn't seem like it's for you, I would probably put it in a D tier for you because you're probably not going to take enough hits. You're going to start feeling a little weird because you do start feeling real weird for a second, and you're going to put the pipe down. So, yeah, it could be a wide range for people, I feel like. But for me, S tier drugs, super dope. Salvia, I wouldn't put it in the same category. You ever try salvia?
No.
Yeah, salvia is like dirty DMT. I feel like. Um, so cocaine.
I've heard crazy stories though.
Yeah.
Cocaine, I've only ever tried like once or twice, and I think both times I was also tripping on acid, so I
Oh yeah,
didn't really get the experience with the cocaine. So
yeah.
couldn't really tell you how I feel about it.
I don't know that I've ever had pure cocaine, but I have had something that a dude called coke that didn't burn my nose at all, made my throat and nose numb, and I did a little key bump and I had a good time. And if that was what real cocaine is like, that was a nice experience. That little bump. I do feel like moderation would be very difficult if I had, an ounce of cocaine. I feel like I would use that ounce of cocaine fairly quickly,
Yeah.
and so that's a
I
problem.
feel like there's I know I had a buddy back in the day who really got really big into it, was doing it all the time and spending all his money on it
Yeah,
because it is expensive, and yeah, I feel like there is a high potential for abuse.
super high potential for
But
abuse.
but also the upside is it is so expensive is that you got to have the funds to be able to
Yeah,
abuse it.
yeah. Unless you get into the crack version of cocaine and you just sell your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah,
So yeah, the
you
potential
don't
for
want to be a
abuse even
crackhead.
goes up if you. And I smoked crack before, and it is whack as fuck. I only had to try it once to realize that that is not a drug that's fun. It really, you're like, woo, I'm real high for fucking 2 minutes, and then you're like, okay, oh, give me more. That's whack as fuck. Cocaine, you can do a bump and it lasts like 2 hours, and so you're having fun conversations for like 2 hours, and then you do another little bump, and then you go back to what you were doing. Cracks like you sit there and you're like, hey, hand it back. It's really whack.
Yeah, I remember a cokehead tried to fight me once. He got all mad. We were watching Borat, the second one, Borat 2. If you don't know, Borat's like a movie. This
Yeah,
Jewish guy
Sacha
dresses up.
Baron Cohen.
He acts like he's a he acts like he's a Middle Eastern dude from Kazakhstan, and he comes to America, and he plays this guy who hates Jews, and he's a Middle Eastern, stereotypical Middle Eastern guy. And so I'm laughing at the jokes where he's making fun of the Jews, and the guy, the cokehead, who's all coked up. His family's Jewish, so he gets all mad that I'm laughing at the jokes. It's like, hey, my family's Jewish, this and that. I'm like, well, so is the guy who's doing the movie. He's Jewish too.
Yeah,
And so yeah, he got all mad. He was about to fight me, but then he just left
that's
because
cool.
I was like, I wasn't about it. But
So
yeah, because I was just a stoner, still am. So I was just smoking and having trying to have a good time with these cokeheads because I didn't have any friends. So I was just hanging out with these dudes and the one wasn't happy that I was laughing at the Jew jokes. So cokeheads aren't always cool to be around.
no, yeah. So because of the potential for abuse, because of how often it's cut with methamphetamine or cathinones or other stimulants to try and pad the product, there's no pure coke. You can't get pure coke. You go on the dark net and look for pure coke. There's nothing. That everybody's like tested it, got meth. So because you can't basically get pure coke, you're not allowed to have coca plants in the United States, so you couldn't even produce your own pure coke. And the potential for abuse, I would like D-tier it. But I feel like if you could get pure coke and you knew and you had a good method of dosing it and all that, you could almost B-tier that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's probably definitely low tier for
Yeah.
me. D,
Yeah.
F,
D or F. Um,
probably D. It's
Yeah.
not like terrible
Yeah,
for you. It's
yeah.
not gonna kill you
Yeah, I'll give it a D.
or not gonna kill you right away at least.
So you never done any like dissociatives or deliriants,
No, like
Benadryl,
or like what's that called? Freaking
DXM?
Datura.
huh? Oh, Datura, yeah, Datura, Benadryl, scopolamine are deliriant drugs that will make you legitimately hallucinate.
Yeah, no, I've never done any Benadryl over the recommended dosage.
Yeah, straight up fucking F tier, dog shit, absolute bad time. people do it. So there's like a Reddit subreddit, RDPH, and then there's R-diphenhydramine, and people post about their trips on trips, I guess you'd call them. I don't know. You're having a fucking trip, dude. You're smoking imaginary cigarettes and talking to imaginary people. And then you're not aware that they're imaginary until you start coming down from it a little bit, and then you start realizing that everything's imaginary, and you're like, oh fuck, why can't I stop this? And then you just wish you could stop it. It's very sad.
That's crazy.
Straight F tier those. Dissociative anesthetics, high potential for abuse, PCP, DXM. Ketamine's one, but it lasts a lot less time. I've never done ketamine. I did 3-MeO, PCP one time. It lasted like 2 days.
Sheesh.
It was fucking terrible. I couldn't put sentences together. It was a bad time. DXM I had a lot of fun with the first couple times I did it. It makes you feel fucking gross in your stomach and shit though. It's very gross. It's a very gross drug. I would fucking D-tier those drugs because you can use DXM if you got a really bad cough, and it'll make you not cough as much, and then you feel better.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't ever consider trying them, so I guess I'd say F tier.
You got any other drugs you want to put on the list?
I think we covered them all.
We covered all the drugs, guys.
Let me think. I mean, there's nothing else I've done.
Yeah.
I'd put on the list.
I haven't done anything else that I feel is worth talking about. So that's been a tier list of drugs, guys. This episode ran a little long. Thanks for sticking with us if you did. Check out fucking what's this page called? Check out Talk Time Hemp if you want to buy some hemp flower that does get you high. Got me high.
Yeah, good stuff. I enjoyed it. Thank you again.
That was pretty good stuff.
Check them out.
Check us out on Spotify. We're on YouTube now. Check us out on Facebook, TikTok, and Metal Cross Radio Tuesdays at 5 p.m. on the West Coast. All right. Thanks, guys. We love you.
Thank you.